And good evening from the Cardinal Athletic Complex. It's time for girls lacrosse as the Champlin Park Rebels come in undefeated to take on the Coon Rapids Cardinals. You can see the Cardinals gathered around their head coach, Jeff Schnickel, getting prepared to take on the unbeaten Champlin Park Rebels, 6-0 overall, 5-0 in conference play. Coon Rapids, meanwhile, comes in with a record of 3-4 on the season, 2-4 in conference play. Champlin Park is tied with Centennial at the top of the Northwest Suburban Conference. And they are led by head coach Jeff Johnson. They're on the sidelines as the Rebels will be in blue and white. He's got his team rolling. They are off to a flying start. They were 14-2 in 2019. And it's going to be up to Kennedy Bolander and Rowan Tom, the two leading scorers and the leaders of this Coon Rapids Cardinals attack, as you see Jeff Schnickel, one of two head coaches for this Coon Rapids Cardinals attack, and intermittent periods of sun and clouds. The sun has peaked out as we get set for the opening draw here at midfield between Champlin Park and Coon Rapids. Of course, these two teams familiar with each other somewhat because a lot of these kids play hockey together on the combined CPCR joint team, but it's nothing but a rivalry this afternoon here in girls lacrosse. We'll have a boys lacrosse game immediately following this here from the Coon Rapids Athletic Complex as we are underway here at Coon Rapids. No possession gained for either team yet. Coon Rapids in the white, black, and red. And scooped up quickly by Phaedra Vang. She gets it into the offensive zone, and Champlin Park goes to work. Cameron Meyer, Northern Michigan-bound attacker, and the leading scorer, already 34 points on the season for her. 17 goals and 16 assists as the Rebels working around side to side. Meyer, watched by Kennedy Bolander. Bolander, one of those players who plays hockey. Meyer gets to the front of the net. Bounce shot, scores. Cameron Meyer dents the scoreboard first for Champlin Park. And right away, the Rebels have an early lead. As you see the starters for the Rebels scrolling down below. But Cameron Meyer definitely going to be one of the key players to watch today. She's got a goal to start things in net this afternoon. Hannah Stadolka, 11.43 goals against average and a .494 save percentage for the senior. Kennedy Bolander, the leading goal scorer for Coon Rapids by a long shot, the leading points getter total, 23 goals and 9 assists. Rowan Tom, the other threat, 25 and 5. The ref setting the combatants at midfield. It's going to be Vang and Bolander to take the draw. It pops back out of the reach and into the stick of Kennedy Bolander, and she sprints into the offensive zone. Bolander on the attack, forced wide by the defense of the Rebels. Difference between boys and girls lacrosse: the girls' field is bigger, wider and longer. So one of the several differences between the two sports, as that foul will earn the start for Coon Rapids. Rachel Jerzak cradling with the ball. Gets it behind net for Tom. One of the offensive creators, as we said, leads the team in both goals and assists at 25 and 15. Very prolific. She tries to feed a cutting Bolander. It's loose on the ground. Scooped up into the stick of Casey Beck. A couple Beck sisters on the field this afternoon for Coon Rapids. Jerzak controls, gives it for Rowan Tom, and we've got a whistle and a stoppage and a foul called. It'll be in the stick of Bolander to restart things for Coon Rapids. Good possession for the Cardinals in the early going, but well defended as Mayer forces the, or beg your pardon, that's Kyler Shack who forces the turnover. A lot of seniors and a lot of freshmen on this Champlin Park Rebels team. As we said, they've had a good program for years now. Carried deep into the offensive zone. They're actually missing a couple players, though, due to injury. A couple contributors who had scored well. Well defended here by the Cardinals. Double comes. Knocked out of the stick by Bolander, but she commits a foul in the process on Dania Carlson. And Bolander will see yellow for that. So she comes to the penalty box. And the ball's in the stick of Dania Carlson, senior midfielder, 11 goals and 6 assists on the season. On the restart, Carlson charges forward and scores. Flung it past Sadolka to give Champlin Park an early 2-goal lead. You see the restart here. Carlson avoids the stick check and then just simple as you please inside the right post. Two nothing Rebels. Bolander continues to take a knee inside the box. So with Bolander out, Tom is going to be the one who takes the draw for Coon Rapids. .22-16 left first half. Possession is called. It's scooped up, finds its way, as it so often does, into the stick of Cameron Mayer. Controlled by Lauren Schindelbeck, one of the first-year attackers who's been so effective for Champlin Park. Looking to pick out a pass, finding Vang, and she scores. Phaedra Vang, her 13th goal of the season for the sophomore midfielder. And just like that, Champlin Park has a 3-0 lead. You see the feed there, and Vang, and they've just identified, they've picked out that right post and just keep beating the goaltender Stadolka. As Vang's got a goal. For Cameron Mayer, she's got 18 now on the season. And Dania Carlson's now got 12. So you're getting a glimpse of why Champlin Park is undefeated. Tom wins that draw for the Cardinals. Down the left wing. Reagan Tom forced wide, or Rowan Tom rather, forced wide. With that distinctive red hair. Gets the ball back from Casey Beck. Tom skips past a couple defenders. Really good ball control from the senior midfielder and co-captain. She's watched by Annabelle Johnson out there. Johnson having a tremendous first year of her own. 17 goals and 7 assists. Tom scoops up the loose ball. Seems to really read the game well. And definitely the more time the ball is in her stick and Bolander's stick, the better. Foul is called on the shove on Grace Evanson. Tom spins away from the pressure of Evanston, draws a couple slides. 3 Rebel defenders around her. Gives it off to Rachel Jerzak, rather, who's been involved in the early attack as well. Jerzak scoops it up, hounded by Mayer, who is not only scoring but also providing a defensive threat out there, as all good midfielders need to do. One back by Kyler Shack, who's been heavily involved in the defense as well. And now Champlin Park will try to get something on the break. Mayer looks to the side, unselfish pass, and she feeds Dania Carlson for her second. Dana Carlson in transition, as you see Mayer feeds it, draws the defense. All the eyes were on her, and Carlson just slipped behind the last defender. And very little that Hannah Stadolka could do about it there. 4-0. Bolander has been released from the box, so she will take the draw. Against Mayer, one niftily back to Vang. Vang, Mayer, and Carlson have been the offensive spearheads this afternoon for Champlin Park. Fed in front, bounce shot, that goes wide, scooped up by Emily Holloway. Listed as an attack, but obviously playing defense today, one of two senior co-captains. Goes out of bounds across the end line, and it'll turn over to Coon Rapids. This is where the 10-player ride goes into effect, and they'll really try to squeeze Coon Rapids and not let them get out. Mayer pressuring the ball along the sidelines, and indeed, Willia Gilliard is forced out of bounds, although they're calling it a cross-check on Vang. Now you see Vang and Mayer positioned to try to force Gilliard, who obviously wants to carry it as much as possible downfield. On the restart, Mayer. Vang comes from behind, can't strip it from Gilliard. Good stick handling by Gilliard. Throws it forward over the head of Bolander. Loose on the deck, Maddie Fowler draws the slash. Or no, commits. Nope, she did draw it. It's a little hard to tell sometimes, but she earned the foul. And so the Cardinals go to work in their offensive end. And now they've got to get a goal to stem this 4-0 run to start things for Champlin Park. A whistle and a foul turns it back over to Champlin Park. So now a lot of running, certainly sideline to sideline in this one. Good passing as Champlin Park matriculates the ball up the field. Off the stick of Mayer. Loose on the deck, but picked up by Schindelbeck. Mayer, great grab to the front of the net and scores. Cameron Mayer, goal number 2 to go along with an assist in this first half. And what was so impressive about that is that she managed to reach back and catch it. As you see her celebrating with Carlson, she managed to reach back and catch the errant pass. Schindelbeck will get it wide. That pass, she catches it, gets the defender off balance, and then that's it. That's all she needs is a step for the Northern Michigan recruit to score. Coon Rapids has taken a timeout to talk things over and try to regroup after they find themselves trailing 5-0. Jeff Schindel, or Schnickel rather, trying to sort things out. Jeff Johnson, meanwhile, has to be super pleased with how his Champlin Park Rebels have started this one. And it's just a matter of getting stops on the defensive end. I mean, Coon Rapids has just not forced any turnovers, and the Cardinals have committed a handful themselves. But there's a reason that Champlin Park is as established a program as they are. As we said, 14-2 in 2019. They were upset by Forest Lake, however, 7-6 in the section final. But talk about their dominance this year. 4 of their 6 wins have come by a margin of 16-1 or more. They seem to give up 1 goal and then win. You look at their scores: 20-1, 16-1, 18-1, 20-0. So they certainly know how to pour it on, and they're stingy defensively, and we've seen that already as they forced several turnovers and really not allowed Coon Rapids to establish much in the way of offensive rhythm. 17-32, beg your pardon, to go in the first half. As we said, we'll have the boys game coming up next here on CTN Coon Rapids. That'll be Elk River Zimmerman coming in to play the combined programs of Coon Rapids and Spring Lake Park here at the Coon Rapids Athletic Complex. Carlson with 2 goals, Mayer with 2 goals, and it's a 5-0 lead. And Anna Stadolka and her defense just trying to regroup after this early onslaught. And it looks like Mayer will be joining the attack. She's kind of just playing all over the place, though. Yep, Mayer playing in that attack position where she had been taking face-offs, or taking draws, I should say. This time it'll be Carlson squaring off against Bolander. On the restart, Bolander wins it clean and charges into the offensive end for Coon Rapids. Bolander, stick handling, gets behind the net and assesses her options. Fed in front, deflected down though by the Rebels and right into the waiting stick of Jackie Freeman, whose name we haven't even called yet. A senior goaltender, 6-0 on the year, 2.44 goals against average and a .682 save percentage. Carlson hustles it into the offensive end for Champlin Park. Wisely gives it to Mayer. Just so poised with the ball in her stick. Back for Carlson, and a good save made by Stadolka. Carlson was looking for a hat trick, but now we've got a whistle and a stoppage. And they say that Schindelbeck was too close to the goaltender, so now she'll try to clear. Nice move away from Mayer, good speed. Clearly Lila Gilliard is the person they want to clear. Foul stops play. Gilliard looks up, just out of the reach of Carlson. Scooped up by Schindelbeck. Transition opportunity. Wide for Mayer. Mayer feeds it in front. Good job by Stadolka to come out to make the save. Still in the possession of Champlin Park. Stick handling. This is Annabelle Johnson. Carlson backs away from her defender. Worked around behind the net. Power cradle for Megan Peter, sophomore attack. Peter watched by Tom. Vang. Oh, good block to knock it down by Casey Beck, who comes away with it. Loose on the deck, Mayer kicked it, and so it'll be Coon Rapids ball. Again, Schindelbeck judged to have been too close to Stadolka. Beck surrounded by Rebels, and Vang comes away with the ball. Vang slaloming her way through. She wisely backs it out. Finds Mayer. Mayer backs out. On the cradle, uses the pick by Vang. Switches hands. It's all about communication down on this end in Lacrosse. Ball's loose and shared back for Stodolka. So Coon Rapids starting to get those stops like we talked about. And again, too much pressure near the crease. Well, of course, first you've got to get the stops, and then you've got to convert into opportunities and take advantage of when you have the ball on the offensive end. As Gilliard again comes over on the far side to take it. Makes a nice move. Looking for an outlet. Usually pretty difficult to get through those defenders, but she manages to do so. Bolander moving right to left. Bolander power cradle. Bolander gets to the front, and a whistle stops play. We'll see if they get the restart then. I think she was fouled on her way to the net. Bolander with the ball in her stick on the restart. Bolander attacks, knocked out of her stick just as she gets to the net. Bounce shot all through the crease. Nearly the first goal for Coon Rapids. Instead, the loose ball is cleared by Champlin Park. Power cradle for Eleanor Gregornik. She will wisely clear through Kyler Shack into the stick of Carlson. Coon Rapids has to be careful there. Toms knocks it free from Mayer. Mayer cradling with the left hand. Looking for a pass. Off the screen. Switches and scores. Whistle stops play. We'll see if this one counts. I think it is going to be a foul and a restart. Cameron Mayer with the ball in her stick, looking for goal number 20 on the season. Forced wide by Toms. Good switch for Bolander. You really do want to have your best players play both ways if they can. Oh, good pass for Carlson, who finishes. Well, Mayer didn't get her hat trick, but Carlson did, and it was assisted by Mayer. 6-0 Champlin Park. You just see Carlson knowing when to cut. Great catch and the finish. So Mayer now with 2 goals and 2 assists, and Dana Carlson with a first half hat trick. Carlson now 14 goals on the season for the senior midfielder. Yeah, you look at this. 10 seniors on this Champlin Park team, so many of whom got experience as sophomores, so they're certainly excited about their potential, and they actually face Centennial next, so that will break the deadlock as Vang wins the draw. Bolander chasing after her. It's just so hard to ask your defenders to defend for as long as they've had to. Mayer switched up onto Anna Van Holzen. You always say keep your stick up in the passing lane in lacrosse. Carlson on a hat trick. Mayer. Cardinals doing a good job of keeping those sticks up. Goes out of the stick of Mayer, but Vang is there to recover. Vang fakes, feeds, Shack scores. Kyler Shack, goal number 5. Assisted by Vang, who's got a goal and an assist now in this first half. And you just see drawing the slide, all eyes of defenders watching the ball, watching Vang. And Vang just head up, knew exactly where her teammate was going to be, and fed the cutter. And that's what you have to do, is continue to cut and make yourself available for those feeders. And in lacrosse, of course, they like to feed from behind, and that is a strategy of a lot of teams. No different than really in hockey when you pass out in front for a goal line extended. 10:22 to go first half. Champlin Park with a 7-0 lead over Coon Rapids. Shoveled forward by Shack, who just got the goal. She finds it. She feeds Mayer. Mayer switches hands. Ducks inside. Scores. Cameron Mayer showing some real stick skills, as she's got a first half hat trick as well. And you just see shoulder fake, ducking under, and then the side shot, which is real tough to do, to keep your stick with the pocket the way it is in lacrosse. It's 8-0 Champlin Park. 3 goals and 2 assists in this first half for Cameron Mayer, who's now up to 20 on the season for goals, to go along with 18 assists. She's very likely to hit the 40-point mark for this season, this afternoon. 10:06 to go in the first half. 8-0 Rebels. And with lacrosse, it can be very much a make-it-take-it scenario, as you see here. Mayer controlling for Carlson. And they score the goal, and then they win the face-off, and it's back in their possession on the offensive end. And they can be so patient on offense. Peter ducks inside a check, gets to the middle. Feeds down low for Vang. Shot fake, bounce shot, and she scores. Such patience on the doorstep from Phaedra Vang. Phaedra Vang shot faked, and a good job again drawing the defense, but Vang right here fakes high and then goes low with the bounce shot for her second of the game. She's got 2 goals and an assist. It's 9-0. For Vang, goal number 14 on the season, to go along with 5 assists. Just a sophomore too, so certainly should be one of the pillars of this Rebels program the next couple years. Shack and Bolander again squaring off at midfield. 9:27 to go before half. 9-0 Champlin Park. But that can make comebacks obviously difficult to do if you are never winning possession. Good moves by Bolander to get free. And they had their best chance with Bolander. They've got to get Toms involved. It's going to be Toms and Bolander, obviously, on the offensive end. Only players with more than 4 goals. Vang steals it right back for Champlin Park. Schindelbeck through midfield. Yeah, I think Schindelbeck's just going to charge toward the net and score. I was about to say that she was going to carry it to the spot behind goal known as X and set things up, but instead she saw an opportunity and she converted to make it 10-0. As you see, no one home. She gets to the front, and very little that Hannah Stodolka can do about it. First point of the game, first goal of the game for Lauren Schindelbeck. First-year player, definitely skilled. Obviously seeing a lot of time for this undefeated Champlin Park Rebels team led by head coach Jeff Johnson. Shack wins the draw for the Rebels. Gets into the teeth of the defense and then backs it out. Carlson draws two defenders, pops it over the top, in front, they score. This time it's Annabelle Johnson with goal number 18. And again, a lovely assist from Dana Carlson, who drew the defense and then just kind of lofted it, put nice touch on it for goal number 11. You see her backing out, sees the cutter in the open space, just kind of looking over the defense, almost like a quarterback. So Carlson now with a hat trick and an assist, and Annabelle Johnson with her first goal. 11-0 Champlin Park. Coon Rapids searching for answers to stop this high-powered Rebels offense. I think we may be into running time now. Yep, confirmed by my fantastic production team here at CTN Coon Rapids. Cardinals get an opportunity now as Rowan Toms gets a touch. She'll trade places and bring it behind net. Wards off a check, feeds in front, and just out of the reach of Casey Beck. Jerzak trying to fight for control. Haven't seen a ton of ground balls this afternoon. And those that have been on the ground have generally been won by Champlin Park. Whistle stops play. It'll belong to the Cardinals. Beck to re-enter. I don't know, they're gonna have Bolander re-enter. Bolander. Left-hand cradle. Fed for Toms, just out of her stick. Scooped up. Now Champlin Park, so dangerous in transition. Once again on the attack with Schindelbeck. Schindelbeck cut off at the pass by Emily Holloway. Fed for Shack. Loose ball kicked right to Mayer. Mayer cut off by Gilliard. Mayer just not forcing anything. Annabelle Johnson, who just scored her first goal of the game. Little give and go with Shack, and it falls out of her stick. Loose in front, Johnson again gets there. And again, all of the 50-50 balls, all of the loose balls, the Rebels seem to be getting to first. Games against Centennial and Maple Grove should be good tests for this Champlin Park team. Fed in front, just out of the stick of Shack. Otherwise, she would have been all alone on the doorstep. Vang comes away with it for the Rebels. Assessing her options behind net. Vang, pass fake. Still has it. Tries to get a shot off, and She will have a shot. It'll be from the right angle on the restart. Vang steps up, rips it, and scores. Phaedra Vang, now the third Rebel to have a hat trick in the first half for Champlin Park. And that one, you knew exactly what she was going to do. You could see her intentions. She steps up, rips it, went low, just past Stadolka. Some unbelievable productivity from some of Champlin Park's top stars. As Phaedra Vang, you see 3 goals and an assist. Carlson with 3 goals and an assist. Mayer with 3 goals and 2 assists. And we are into running time. 2.5 minutes to go, first half. Bolander again wins the draw. This is where the Cardinals have looked their most threatening in transition. But now they just want to work some clock and string together a little possession. Brooke Griffith feeds Toms. And that was saved. That shot went wide, rather. Still in the possession of Coon Rapids. Whoever is closest when the ball goes out of play keeps possession. Fed in front, loose on the ground. Bolander scoops it up with one hand and retreats. As we said, one of the main contributors in the CPCR girls hockey team, Kennedy Bolander. Griffith. Pressured out there by Carlson. Maddie Fowler spins away from pressure. Griffith. Sophomore midfielder has 4 goals on the season for Coon Rapids. Toms trying to get to the front, looking for Fowler just out of her stick, and now we've got a whistle, a hold, so it'll go back to the Navy and White. There's 14.6 seconds officially left on the clock. I know it says 0, but they stop the clock. They're going to allow Champlin one more transition opportunity. Annabelle Johnson scoops it up, passes in front, and Vang scores as time expires here in the first half. Phaedra Vang, her 4th goal of the half.
Scoring for Champlin Park,
her 2nd straight.
Number 44, Phaedra Vang.
So led by Phaedra Vang and Dana Carlson and of course Cameron Mayer, Coon Rapids finds themselves in a big hole as you see the transition. Johnson to Vang as time expired. So Champlin Park made good use of that 14 seconds. End of the first half here at Coon Rapids High School. And at the halftime break, it's all Champlin Park, 13-0. You're watching Coon Rapids Girls Lacrosse here on CTN Coon Rapids.
Winston, nice hands, drives, and scores.
Back here at Coon Rapids Athletic Complex, 13-0 the score at halftime. Champlin Park over Coon Rapids in girls lacrosse as we get set to start the second half, and we'll show you some replays. I don't even want to call them highlights because there was very little to celebrate in that first half. Dana Carlson scoring there. She had a hat trick, one of 3. This is her second goal. One of 3 goals and 4 points she would have in the first half. Really the star of the show, Cameron Mayer right there, the Northern Michigan recruit with a hat trick and 2 assists herself. And right there, popping a beautiful pass, finding Carlson, and those two just really combined. You see just the stick work and the movement, and then going low to high to beat Hannah Stodolka. It was part of a Champlin Park onslaught, and right there you see Phaedra Vang scoring 2 of her 4, getting her 3rd right there, and that was the one, or 4th rather, that was the one that ended the half just right before halftime. And so that's how we stand at 13-0. Really the damage has been done. Like we said, Vang with 4 goals and an assist, Mayer with 3 goals and 2 assists, and Carlson with 3 goals and an assist. Annabelle Johnson with a goal and an assist as well. But really it's just been a handful of players that have done the lion's share of the damage in the first half, or that did the lion's share of the damage for the Rebels, and they're 6-0 and at the top of the conference with Centennial for a reason. A lot of senior leadership, as we said, 9 seniors in this Champlin Park team, as Vang and Bolander will do battle. And we barely mentioned Jackie Freeman. She's one of the seniors. She came in with a sparkling 2.44 goals against average, and she touched the ball once in the first half. So Coon Rapids, of course, just trying to get something going offensively, and they'll certainly look to Kennedy Bolander and Rowan Tom to do that. Tom with 25 goals and Bolander with 23 coming in. So the draw as the sun again kind of creeps out. It is cool. It's in the upper 40s with only a slight breeze. Champlin Park wins the face-off, or wins the draw, and we'll start things with Annabelle Johnson, the right-handed power cradle. Watched by Amek Joj. We saw a lot of playing time in that first half. Coon Rapids obviously doing a lot of defending. Loose in front, bounce shot. Good save by Stodolka to deny Megan Peter her 9th goal of the season. Outlet finds its way to Casey Beck, but only momentarily. Loose on the deck. Carlson comes away with it. We'll see if we start to see some subs as Peter tries to get a shot off. Warded off by Rowan Toms. Backed out by Cameron Mayer. Again, just good things seem to happen. Carlson switching hands. Well defended. You really need to communicate and have your slides and your help defense ready. Passed in front to Johnson. A whistle stops play. Running time in this second half happens after a 10-goal lead, as Carlson stops to tie her shoe. It'll be interesting to see, and it certainly looks like some substitutions getting ready to take place for Champlin Park as Carlson scores again, her 4th of the game. Dana Carlson now up to 15 goals on the season. As that restart, she just ducked in and picked out the upper corner. Really accurate shooting from Champlin Park, and again, wouldn't at all be surprised to see as Vang comes to switch sticks to get her face-off, her draw stick. And you see that too with in the boys game as well. A lot of guys have different face-off sticks and different sticks that they play with in the offensive end because they're strung differently. 14-0 Rebels. Looked like A lot of substitutions were set to be made for the Rebels, but instead Mayer has it. Gets it middle for Johnson. Annabelle Johnson. Stopped in her tracks and pushed off. Now they got to communicate. Johnson gets to the front of the net. Scoop shot. Good save by Stadolka. It might have hit the post, but I think Stadolka made the stop. And right there, that's the communication we talked about, because a couple Coon Rapids defenders both went off. Both thought the other one had Johnson. Lauren Schindelbeck whistled for the infraction there. As Vang fouls Grindle, or Gilliard, beg your pardon. Gilliard splits defenders. What I was saying is that both defenders left Annabelle Johnson, who had the ball, and Johnson was able to get to the front of the net. Had to attempt kind of a nifty looking shot. Unfortunately for the Cardinals, Stadolka was able to save it. Up ahead for Mayer. Watched by Holloway. Mayer gets a step, passes middle, and they score. Mayer with a beautiful find to a cutting Schindelbeck, her second of the game. Mayer's third assist to make it 15-0. And again, that's all Cameron Mayer, rather, drawing the defense. Schindelbeck knowing to get to the front of the net, but Mayer having the skill to beat her defender and then feed in front, find an accurate pass with the right touch. As Lauren Schindelbeck, first-year player now with 2 goals. She comes off having done her job. And we've seen Mayer, obviously, very unselfish. Cardinals win the draw on this time, though. Knocked out of the stick by Vang, who really plays hard. And she comes away with the ground ball. Vang takes a check. She'll lead the restart for Champlin Park. 15-0 Rebels, 20 minutes to go, second half. Don't forget, we'll have the Elk River Zimmerman Coon Rapids Spring Lake Park boys game in Lacrosse on this field coming up next. It's chilly, but it is sunny. Clouds are clearing as Cameron Mayer gets warded to the sidelines. She gets a step on Joj. And that whistle will bring the foul back and have the restart. Mayer finds Kate Wilhelmi, who's got 5 goals on the season. Now we've got some substitutions in there for Champlin Park. Good stick in the passing lane by Gilliard. Gilliard sprinting back with the clearance. This is what she does best. There's a reason she always gets the ball in transition for Coon Rapids. Champlin Park passes off defenders as Gilliard with the right-hand cradle. Shack goes down and loses her stick. No call. And there's a whistle. And it'll give the ball back to Champlin Park. Rebels like to counter quickly. Underneath Wilhelmi. Out of the reach of Mayer. She scoops it up. Triple teamed. Good defense there as Maddie Fowler recovers it for Coon Rapids. Feeds a cutting Bolander. Chance for Coon Rapids. Bolander gets to the front, and a whistle stops play before she can shoot. Here we go. Coon Rapids with their best scoring opportunity today. Bolander in the circle. On the restart, charges forward and scores! Kennedy Bolander, goal number 24 on the season for Coon Rapids. And the Cardinals get on the scoreboard in the second half. After she'd drawn the foul, couple steps, bounce shot, beat Freeman to her right. Stick side is always harder. And Bolander, that's why she had 23 coming in. So Kennedy Bolander, unassisted, breaks the scoring run for Champlin Park, makes it 15-1 now, Rebels. I said it was going to be their best scoring, or it was their best scoring chance of the game, and that certainly proved true. Bolander couldn't finish the first one she had in the first half off the restart, but that one was straight on in the circle, and she made no mistake. And this really follows the pattern that we said of Champlin Park. They've beaten 4 of their 6 opponents 16-1 or more, so obviously getting into running time for much of the game. Carlson jogs it back behind net, the right-hand cradle. And I wouldn't imagine the Rebels would be too aggressive, probably very patient at this point with some substitutes. Raked into the crease by Stodolka, who is got a tough assignment in this second half. As if it's not hard enough to stop this Rebels offense, she's got to look directly into that western setting sun here at the Coon Rapids Athletic Complex. Gilliard racing forward. As we said, she is the one they go to clear the ball. She gets into the offensive zone, and the Coon Rapids Cardinals go to work. Rowan Toms held off the score sheet today thus far, which is very unusual. As we said, comes in 40 points on the season. Toms draws a couple defenders out of the reach of Jerzak. It's actually turned into quite a beautiful evening here in Coon Rapids. Cool, but quite nice. Griffith passed off to Gregorniak. They are really trying to prevent that feed in front to Tom. Jerzak knocked away by Shack. Vang bumped aside. You're letting them play here as Fowler scoops it up. Vang tries to back check. And finally, we've got a hold called. 14:50 and counting remaining as Fowler will re-enter play for Coon Rapids. Yeah, score sheet aside, I mean, this is a tall task for any team, as we've noted with the scores. Griffith tries to split defenders. And a whistle stops play, foul called, so it should be a restart. Opportunity now for Brooke Griffith, sophomore midfielder with 4 goals. The restart into the stick of Freeman. Comfortable enough save as she gets it to Vang. Now Vang weaving through traffic, already with 5 points this afternoon. Rebels able to clear. Brooke Olson, senior attack. Gets to the front of the net. Somehow stays with the ball in her stick, does not fall in the crease. Fed in front, and they score! Patient attack as Shack gets her second of the game. Assisted this time by Brooke Olson. Senior to senior to make it 16-1 Champlin Park. And Gilliard, just very little she can do. She's trying to defend Olson. No one picked up the cutter, and Shack made him pay. Kyler Shack, 2 goals today. And more importantly, she's been stout defensively against Rowan Tom, who is taking the draw this time instead of Bolander for the Cardinals. A lot of activity going on this evening. Softball games on the far side, a baseball game going on. About the only thing that isn't happening is a track meet. Vang gets possession and gives it off for Johnson. Peter, watched by Van Hulzen. Peter still has it, looking for a pass. Fed in front, well read by Gilliard, however.
Set it up, set it up. Jog back, jog back.
Gilliard trying to weave her way through a host of Rebels. 5 defenders she splits before timeout is called. No, I beg your pardon, before a foul is called. Sometimes, at least in the boys' game, they'll call timeout to retain possession on a clearance. Doesn't seem to be as prevalent in the girls' game. Still with Lila Gilliard. Don't forget Elk River Zimmerman and Coon Rapids Spring Lake Park to do battle next on this field in boys lacrosse. The lights are on, but not really necessary quite yet. Speaking of the boys, they're arrived. Familiar Northwest Suburban Conference rival. Elk River Zimmerman, of course, also the combo for hockey. Rowan Tom hits a cutter to Bolander and right into the stick of Freeman. Great little give and go, but Freeman was equal to it. So she's made a handful of saves after giving up the only goal of the game. It's a great combo. That's probably the second best look that the Cardinals have had today. Schindelbeck in transition. Tries to hit a cutting Peter, but behind her. She tracks it down as Holloway watches her. Beautiful pass in front, bounce shot, and a good save. And it goes wide of the net. Stadolka didn't know where it was after she made the initial stop. Stadolka's had some fine saves. Gilliard throwing a few shoulder fakes. And it's taken right back by Wilhelmi. Gives it for Peter. Fed in front. Oh, another save by Stadolka. Now she'll try to clear up through Tom. Loose on the deck. And here comes Coon Rapids. Good speed by Brooke Griffith. Griffith showing off the wheels. Around a defender. And misses the shot. Oh, had everything but the finish right there from Brooke Griffith on that clear. Still in the possession of Coon Rapids. Bolander tries to split defenders. Scoops it up and it finds its way into the crease. They are going to call a foul, however. .8:23 and counting left to go. Ball in the stick of Kennedy Bolander on the far end. Coon Rapids would love to get a second or even a third goal. Especially Tom. Ducks under defender, scores, but the whistle blew. So we'll see if she ends up getting a restart. She will. Rowan Tom trying to get on the scoreboard for the first time today. On the restart, Tom spins away from defenders, going left to right, low shot, and it's denied, and you could sense her frustration with her hands on her knees. Bolander got the rebound. Looking for Tom, fed in front, it's loose. Tom knocked to the floor. Bolander And a cross check, little physical by Addie Dale. Yeah, Rowan Tom stuck on 25 goals and 15 assists. Passed out front, evades everybody. Tracked down, however, by Annette Abbott, first-year attacker who's had kind of a quiet afternoon. Good spell of possession this for the Cardinals. Obviously the game well in hand for the Rebels, but anything that you can do to sort of build momentums and take something positive out of this result, Jeff Schnickel would love to see it. Abbott will restart it, goal line extended for the Cardinals. Griffith cradling, lost it. Now Champlin Park, who is so dangerous in transition, gives it to Peter. Megan Peter charging into the offensive end. Left-hand cradle. Johnson can't get it clear, finds its way to Gilliard, and a foul is called. Ball just has a way of finding its way into Lilia Gilliard's stick, which is not a bad thing for Coon Rapids, as she is a rather confident and capable ball handler. Just as I say that, weaves through defenders and finds an outlet in Griffith. Day is done for many of Champlin Park's senior stars. Carlson and Shack and Cameron Mayer. Pass on the doorstep. Oh, another good save by Sadolka. Stadolka's had some fine saves here late in this second half. Vang intercepts that pass. And again, I think the Rebels are going to be content to work it around. Vang around a defender, gets middle, and whistle stops play with 4:20 left. So it should be a restart for Vang. So already got 4 goals and an assist this afternoon. Phaedra Vang. On the restart, steps up and scores. Player of the game right there for Champlin Park, the sophomore midi, Phaedra Vang. 17 goals and 5 assists now on the season for her. 17-1 Rebels. She did it from the other side, and she's just got a hard enough and dynamic enough shot that if you foul her in those areas, it's tough to stop, because you won't have time to converge and knock the ball out of her stick before she has time to rip a shot like she did right there. What's amazing is that that's just her first goal of the second half, so she did most of her damage in the first half. But obviously, with a 13-0 lead, and Vang scored the last couple, including as the whistle sounded at halftime. It was all over but the shouting. Champlin Park up 17-1 on Coon Rapids. Well, Vang comes back to take the draw against Bolander. Collides with Tom, but she gets there and scoops up the ground ball. Great stick skills by Phaedra Vang. 6 points to tie her teammate Cameron Mayer, who had 3 goals and 3 assists. Peter controlling things with 2 minutes left to play. Peter gets a step. Oh, another good save by Stodolka. She is improving her save numbers tremendously, and that time she came out and stoned Peter on the doorstep. Peter, another shot. That one goes wide. Vang closest to it, though, for Champlin. Vang gets a step and scores. Phaedra Vang, goal number 6 tonight. And the slide just never came. She likes to score in bunches. Had the defender on the other side, shot fake, couple shot fakes, and ultimately beats Stodolka. 6 goals and an assist for Phaedra Vang. Mind you, she came in with 12 goals and 4 assists, so she's already got 33% more goals. In one game, 18 goals now on the season for Phaedra Vang, who has just been one of the most athletic looking players on the field today, quite frankly. Check from behind by Rowan Tom. (18-1) is, as we said, it's kind of been Champlin Park's, not their average score, but it's been a pretty typical score this year for the Rebels, giving up a goal and scoring bunches. Peter with one more shot. Stodolka makes the save as time expires here in Coon Rapids. A dominant performance from start to finish for Champlin Park, who remains undefeated on the season. They move the record to 7-0. Coon Rapids falls to 3-5. 18-1 our final here in the first of our lacrosse doubleheader. We'll take a break and join us again in a half hour for the Elk River Zimmerman boys team taking on the Coon Rapids Spring Lake Park boys team right here at the Coon Rapids Athletic Complex. But until then, for Neil Hennon, Mike Burlingame, and our entire crew, CTN Coon Rapids crew, I'm Bill Hupp saying good evening from the Coon Rapids Athletic Complex. Cardinals fall in this one to Champlin Park, 18-1.